Hello, many thanks for joining us on News Hour 2. My name is Sani Abdurrahman. In this package, we'll be telling you the very latest from all that has been happening in Nima since yesterday, and also the conversation about the strike by some teacher unions and the fact that teachers at the basic level are not happy with some of the reforms that government has introduced as far as the calendar system is concerned. They want the primary level students to operate on the semester basis. They are not happy, and we'll be engaging some of the players in the industry. Let's start with that, because 4 teacher unions have called on the Ghana Education Service to withdraw the newly introduced semester system at the pre-tertiary level for broad stakeholder consultations before implementation. Now, according to the unions, the unilateral change in the school calendar from the trimester system to the semester system to cover pupils at the primary and kindergarten levels by the GES was arbitrary and an imposition on the major stakeholders in education, of which the unions were a part. Meanwhile, news just in indicates that the Ghana Education Service will on Thursday, January 20, engage teacher unions on the new academic calendar and contact hours for schools. The unions are the Ghana National Association of Teachers, the National Association of Graduate Teachers, the Coalition of Concerned Teachers Ghana, and the Teachers and Educational Workers Union. Now, it's back to school for all teachers and students, whether public or private school. Ghana National Council of Private Schools, after the Ghana Education Service released the public school calendar for this academic year, is urging its members to run their own system and timetable that is favorable to the unique conditions and demands of NACOS as provided. But are private schools bound by GS academic calendar? The executive director of the Ghana National Council of Private Schools, Mr. Kwesi Jetua, joins us on phone for some interaction on this development. Thank you so much for your time, sir. What are your views on the 2022 semester styled calendar for government basic schools in the country, for which you have directed your members not to more or less adhere?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to you all and your cherished viewers this afternoon. As you said, academic calendar is not a responsibility of the Ministry of Education to design it and enforce it on the private schools. Based on educational regulations, private schools are free from going by their own academic calendar. And since time immemorial, private schools have been using a unique or a bespoke academic calendar that befits the purposes of running their education. And they have been seen, let's say, effective in the delivering of education. So when this academic calendar came out, we realized and studied it and realized that it will not meet the uniqueness of private education. And for that matter, we have directed all private schools in Ghana to go by the trimester system which we have put in place for them.
If that is the argument, then you seem not to have any issue with the directive by GES as far as the new approach is concerned, since your operation does not more or less fall under the remit of the authority.
Well, if you look at in the private perspective, that one can say that, yes, we don't have any issues with that, because private is private and public is public, although we are all developing education for this country. But if you look at in the general discussion perspective, one will say that why the curriculum has been structured for trimester based and one session is decided to use a semester based, which is a big question for GS to come and clarify that for us.
Well, we don't speak for GS, but in their many engagements with the media, we've heard them respond to the question that you've just posed. And they are saying that the new system will increase the contact hours. For that matter, it will improve the quality of tuition. Is that an argument that you side with?
No, the basis is not all that strong to argue on that. The principles in the curriculum is that it demands a lot of rigorous activity. And for that matter, engaging the child for a longer period of time will even retard the energy of the child and will not bring any productivity. That is why I said that the GES ought to have conducted a stakeholder engagement to broaden this discussion and come out with a conclusion that would have been better for the decision that they have taken.
For conformity sake, will you likely in the future, maybe next academic calendar, consider the new directive so that we have some sort of uniformity as far as our educational system is concerned at the basic level?
We know very well that GS will drop this academic calendar and join the private schools. And for that matter, that kind of uniformity will be seen over there.
On what basis are you making this point?
We know very well because we know very well that proper consultation has not been done. The workers' union are not happy, and it is very clear when you are coming out with any policy and you don't do a proper consultation, its implementation will not surface, and it will definitely cause a challenge. And that is what we are seeing. I still don't understand why GS has not come out openly to apologize to the public and then withdraw this, go to the table, call all the stakeholders necessary, call the technical review people so that they can work on this and come back to the trimester base.
Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you.
And that's the Executive Director of Ghana National Council of Private Schools, Mr. Enoch Kwesi Jetua, who has been helping us to appreciate the perspective of the private school players as far as the new calendar system or the semester system that government has just introduced through the implementing agency, the Ghana Education Service. Now we move on to some of the day's other stories because the police have arrested 7 persons in connection with violence that broke out in Nima between 2 rival groups on Tuesday. 2 of the suspects are on admission at a hospital under police guard. 1 injured victim identified as Apia is also on admission at the 37 Military Hospital responding to treatment. At a news briefing in Accra, the Director General, Public Affairs, Ghana Police Service, ACP Kwesi Ofori, said the violent clash was led by 1 Kumoji, alias Ibrahim Hussein, and Bombo, alias Ali Audu, leaders of the rival groups, after they had decided to go publicly all out to iron out their differences. ACP Ofori said the police was prompt in response and disengaged the factions. I will go for a quick break. We return with more on this latest development. Development because a lot of stakeholders have been on the ground since morning investigating what may have caused the mayhem witnessed in Nima yesterday, and we'll be engaging a security analyst to help us appreciate how the security agencies can address this issue together with the stakeholders. But first, we'll take a listen to a press briefing by the Public Affairs Director of the Ghana Police Service, ACP Kwesi Ofori.
The police administration also would like to make it clear that it will not sit down unconcerned for such hoodlums, criminals, to take our streets and deploy violence. Again, we also like to state that we've retrieved some important items, clues and evidence on the street, notably some spent ammunitions, some ammunitions, and adapted implement to cause harm and injury. Our exercise to maintain general stability, law and order in the NEMA environs continues. And that exercise is ongoing under the headship of the Director General Police Operations and the Accra Regional Commander.
The Public Affairs Director of the Ghana Police Service, who has been addressing the media, updating the nation on what they have gathered so far and what they are doing to address the issue that broke out yesterday. We now speak to Sani Adibe, security analyst, who has also been following the development since the start of the day. Sani, thank you so much for your time. What have you gathered so far from where you sit as a security analyst before we settle for some details? Sani, if you can unmute for me. We still have a challenge getting the sound. Okay, Sani, if you can unmute for me. Okay, we seem to be with the connection. The team is working to get the sound so that Sani can help us appreciate what he has gathered so far and what the security agencies can do to address the concern. Now, let's move on to some other stories and return when the lines are better, because the Owabi Dam is to be dredged to restore the water reservoir to its original capacity to meet the water supply needs of the people in some parts of Kumasi. Siltation has reduced the water level from the original 22.5 feet to 6.5 feet, thereby reducing the water supply capacity of the reservoir. Officials of the Ghana Water Company have met the project engineers at the sites where all the necessary equipment have been mobilized for work to start.
The Owabi Head Works was commissioned in 1928 to supply potable water to the northern part of Kumasi. Siltation has adversely affected the flow of water to the dam. Illegal logging and encroachment have also undermined the water storage capacity of the reservoir. Government contracted Q3 Company Limited civil and mechanical engineers to undertake the project, which is scheduled to be completed in 2 years. The mechanical engineers estimate the siltation at 1.5 million cubic meters, but expert divers have been engaged to assess the actual level of siltation in the dam. A mechanical engineer and head of the divers team, Mr. Joe Callum, explains that it will take less than 2 weeks to complete the assessment.
But to determine the actual amount of silt, we have to use divers to go down and measure. It can take us today and half of tomorrow for the sub-bottom probing alone.
An environmental specialist engineer at the Ghana Water Company, Mr. Abdul Fattah Tambro, said the dredging would not affect aquatic life in the dam because no chemicals would be used in the execution of the project. The manager in charge at the Owabi Head Works, Mr. Alfred Galenko, said the project execution would not affect water supply to consumers.
We will use valves to control the flow, not machine. So as they are working, we also open our valves and water will be flowing to the treatment plant. So we will all be working together. When it becomes necessary for us to shut down, I don't think it will take much time time, or it will not affect the people or whatever.
The chief executive of Q3 Company Limited, Mr. McDam, said the project is one of the biggest to be undertaken in West Africa. He stated that they were determined to complete the project before schedule.
Back in Accra, an ultra-modern medical center has been opened at Spintex in Accra. The facility owned by Bond House Medical Center is the second to be operated to provide quality primary health care and specialized treatments to residents in the community at an affordable rate.
Bond House Medical Center started operations in 2020 when the COVID-19 pandemic was at its peak. The medical center began operations as its first center in the Tema metropolis, providing quality primary health and specialized healthcare services. With license from the Health Facilities Regulatory Agency, HIFRA, the medical center, after 2 years of operating in Tema, has opened another branch at Spintex to extend quality healthcare delivery to the community. The new ultra-modern health center comes with a specialized laboratory, pharmacy, consulting rooms, theater, wards, and other facilities to provide the best of care in a serene environment. Management of the facility say much attention will be given to women health and pediatric care. The medical director of Bond House Medical Center, Dr. Alfred Lamte, said for the past 2 years, the medical center has provided effective and efficient healthcare service to clients and is ready to provide exceptional services at its new center.
The customer or the patient is our primary focus. If you come in and you have a very bad experience, you are not going to come back, and you are not going to recommend the medical center to anyone. So the key word are service excellence.
Mr. Leonard Lamte is the Group Managing Director of Bond House Medical Center.
Service delivery is very important to us. We believe that with the right service, with the right attitude, we'll be able to deliver excellent health care to the patients. And so for us, one of the major pointers for us is to always ensure that the patient is key, to deliver the best service to the patient, to even follow up to make sure that the patients are doing well. We don't want to see healthcare delivery as a one-off transaction, where a patient comes into your hospital, you treat, and then you let go. But for us, we will treat and follow up and ensure that the patient is doing very well.
With 2 operational centers now, management of Bond House Medical Center say more centers will be opened in Accra and Takoradi and also expand its operations in Africa.
Now let's go back to our earlier story where the police have arrested 7 persons in connection with violence that broke out in Nima between 2 rival groups on Tuesday. We know 2 of the suspects are on admission at a hospital under police guard, and 1 injured victim also is on admission at the 37 military hospital responding to treatment. We'll go on the lines and speak with Sani Adibe, security analyst, who has also been following up on the issues on how the police can address this very disturbing development. Sani, glad you could join us again. First of all, I want to pick your thought, your assessment of all that has been happening since yesterday before we settle for some details.
Okay, so I hope you can hear me now.
Loud and clear.
Wonderful, but there's interference in the audio from the MCR. I think their microphone is on there, so it's interfering with yours.
It will be rectified. Go on with your point. We seem to be having a challenge with the line. Sani, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I can hear you.
Okay, go on with your point.
To hear you because there's interference from some voices in the MCR. It's interfering. I can barely hear you. Okay. But if you can hear me, let me just go straight to the point. Okay. The thing is, what has happened at Nima is quite distressing. We do know that in recent times there's been some confusion between some groups in the area, but we never thought the gangsterism situation is so bad to the extent that they would come in the streets and show such belligerence in broad daylight. However, I'm particularly excited about the interest of the police in this whole matter. I mean, they were very much present on the ground today. We saw the regional commander coming around. The MP for the area was also around. I was there since morning. I took the trouble to even gather some information from people around. And it would interest you to know that a lot of the people in the area were not interested in talking to anyone, because everybody knows everyone there. Everybody is related to everybody. Everybody knows everybody's, family house. So if you speak, that might affect your safety in one way or the other. I saw a lady questioned by the police. When the police left, I saw some young men rebuking her for talking to the police. I mean, so that should tell you the opinions and perceptions about people there, even to strangers, much more the police in the area. But that notwithstanding, I was able to get some few people to talk. And some of them complained that those who were around and that they are area boys. Everybody knows them. But who to point them out is the issue. So I'm hoping that the police is able to improve on intelligence, get all the information that is required, so we are able to get all of those involved arrested, particularly their ringleaders. So in as much as this thing that happened is dastardly, it presents us a unique opportunity to look into the issue of gangsterism in the Zongos. You see the unconstitutional parliament. You see people having benches in front of shops and all that. There's nothing wrong with it. But immediately it translates into violence, then there's a need for us to pay the attention it deserves.
Sonny, one major issue that have also emerged since the violence yesterday is the drug trade that has become a common thing within that section of the Greater Accra region. How should the police deal with it? Because it's kind of bruised what we've seen yesterday.
Well, when I saw the video yesterday, I was shocked. I mean, the man was recklessly firing. He wasn't pointing specifically at the target. He was just randomly firing. He could have hit anyone somewhere who doesn't know what is going on. But I understand from police sources that a young man in a vehicle was shot in the chest. And the sounds of the knives, the cutlasses, it felt like a Chinese movie scene, when they fight with the sword. I just couldn't believe my eyes. So what happened is really, really, really disturbing. And I am hoping that going forward, we just don't enforce the law, but we deal with those fundamental human insecurities that is pushing a lot of young people into violence as a means of survival. When I was there, I mean, I could smell, poverty to a very large extent. Even though there are business activities going on, but you see a lot of young people moving around doing nothing. The conditions in which people live. I mean, despite the fact that we, sorry?
I'll go on with your point, son.
Sorry?
Go on with your point, Sonny.
Okay, so yes. So like I indicated, I mean, you see a lot of young people without jobs. You see a lot of the youth in the area pushed into uncertainty and all that. So if you are able to improve on the human security, I'm sure that it would be the surest, sustainable way to deal with the myriad of insecurity challenges we've had to deal with coming from the Zongos. But my information points to the fact that, you see, the thing is, nobody really seems to know, unless maybe they are not willing to speak, okay? But it's difficult to know what really triggered the violence. It's very difficult to say. The people I've spoken with, the police on the ground I've spoken with, they are all shocked, okay? Because we know of these gangs. We don't know whether one is chasing another person's girlfriend, or one went somewhere, he was slapped and he went to organize his colleagues. That's what we are unable to tell now. But all in all, I mean, it's not still worth it. And I think that when we improve on the quality of life of the people in that area, it will give them a lot more reason to live than to die.
Sani, very finally, a lot of times when developments like this occur in our Zongo communities, you find some opinion leaders leading a group of people within the community to get these people to secure bail for them, and subsequently the issues die out without the culprits being prosecuted. In this instance, what are your expectations from the police if anyone shows up to get any of these culprits to secure bail for the person?
The person should be arrested, as simple as that. I mean, we cannot allow impunity to persist. And it's quite common, especially in these Zongos and other inner cities. You see people riding without helmets. On the weekend, you're in a hurry to get to your destination, the roads are blocked and all that. It's becoming one too many. And we cannot allow that to continually happen. I mean, I'm not saying we don't have respectable people within the Zongos who are law-abiding and are living a good life. There are a lot of them. The trouble causes are just a few. And I get sad when people use the actions of some one or two Zongo boys to think that all of Zongo is violent. All of Zongo is not violent.
Okay.
I'm speaking to you from Zongo, you know, because my office is there. And I think that the opinion leaders would have to get involved, particularly the chief imam. He's very revered, and he has his voice in this, because I understand today he met the 16th regional chief imam, and this issue came up. So I'm hoping that he would collaborate more with other stakeholders on the ground, so we are able to ensure sanity.
Grateful for your time, Sani. Sania Davis, a security analyst, and has been helping us to appreciate the development from Nima. In some of the day's other stories, the Ghana Tourism Authority has begun a nationwide enforcement exercise to clamp down on operations of tourism facilities for non-payment of the 1% tourism levy. It seeks to ensure sanity in the tourism sector.
The Ghana Tourism Authority is mandated by the law under the Tourism Act 2011 Act 817 to register and license all tourism facilities. The 1% levy, which is guaranteed under legislative instruments LI 2238 and 2239, is charged on bills as one patronizes hospitality-related enterprises such as hotels, clubs, guest house, lodges and hostels, among others, with the money paid into the Tourism Development Fund. The Greater Accra Regional Team included officials from Ghana Tourism Authority GTA, the media and the Ghana Police Service, Acapulco Restaurant and Guest House, MB3 Hostel, Park View Hotel, Paravic Lodge and Hillview Guest Center were all in default. All the facilities settled all their debts at the time of the visit, excluding Hillview Guest Center. Officials served the facility with a closure notice of non-payment of 29,000 cedis. The Deputy Director of the Ghana Tourism Authority, Mr. Ataka Krakusi, said authorities are not just looking at the payment of the 1% tourism levy, but also quality standards at the facility.
We are urging all establishments to be able to remit their tourism development fund and the levy, and this would help us to build a better Ghana. As it is a nationwide exercise, we have started in Accra and we are expected to move to the other regions.
The Ghana Tourism Authority is urging operators to maintain high standards within the hotelier chain.
We go for a break. When we return, Dorothy Ajiman will be telling you the very latest in the world of business as producer prices records a marginal decrease in the month of December.
Good to have you join us. Time now for the business segment. I am Dorothy Ajamai. Good afternoon. For the next 4 years, total value of investment into the country is expected to increase from 22% to 35% through the expertise of a new board for the Venture Capital Trust Fund. Also, the new board for the Ghana Supply Company is expected to provide management with the professional impetus to revive the fortunes of the company. The two boards have been inaugurated by the Ministry of Finance here in Accra. VCTF in 2004 was an attestation of the country's commitment to support private businesses with long-term capital for growth and job creation. It was also an intervention by the government to address the financing needs of MSMEs in Ghana as they hold the key to a robust SME sector. In the last decade, VCTF has created 7 funds with investments in over 60 companies, having leveraged additional $89.7 million from invested capital of $29 million. Sustainable direct jobs created from these investments are over 3,400 with additional 13,500 indirect. A 2019 report by PwC identified a funding gap of 115 billion cedis to the services and manufacturing sectors of the economy by 2025. The ravaging effect that the emergence of COVID-19 has had on businesses in general and SMEs in particular has made it imperative for the provision of the right kind of funding for MSMEs. A survey conducted by the Africa Venture Capital and Private Equity Association in April 2020 showed that West Africa has become an attractive destination for foreign investment and is expected to be the most attractive destination for the next 3 years. Between 2014 and 2019, investments worth $10.2 billion were made in West Africa, with Nigeria attracting about 68% and Ghana attracting 22% of these investments. At the inauguration of an 8-member board for the VCTF, the board chair, Mr. Kofi Yamwa, said they intend to build a strong corporate structure to execute its mandate. The finance minister, Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, said the VCTF is a beneficiary of the Ghana Economic Transformation Project aimed at promoting private investments, hence the need to ensure that its intended purpose is realized.
If you look at its past record and the difficulties they have had in management, I'm not sure it was a good time to put in money at that time. But I think we are at a point in time that we can trust that lessons have been learned, prosecutions have happened, governance is good, and it's time to move forward.
Next was the inauguration of a 7-member board by the Ghana Supply Company. A deputy minister for finance, Mrs. Abna Osei-Asari, said with the relevant experiences, knowledge, skills and competencies with which the members were selected, the ministry expects that they will deliver in making the company a profitable and self-sustaining CSO.
The individuals that have been invited to constitute this board have accepted the challenge to put their knowledge and expertise at the disposal of the company to promote its well-being and lift it from one whose performance had been regarded as below par in the past into one that can also be mentioned in dispatches.
The ministry expects that they will deliver in making the company a profitable and self-sustaining SOE. The retained board chair, Major Daniel Soa Ablo-Kwaku, retired, said the company in the last 5 years has made significant strides, especially in the area of good corporate governance. Both boards were urged to work assiduously to refine the role of the companies by giving of their best to justify the trust and confidence reposed in them. Wholesale prices saw a marginal drop in December 2021 as consumer inflation recorded its biggest jump in 5 years. The Consumer Price Index, which measures producer prices, was down 0.2% for the month compared with 2.8% recorded the previous month. However, on a 12-month basis, the index was up 12.8%.
The monthly gain was a sharp drop-off from the 2 previous months, which showed gains of 2.8% in November and 2% in October. The 12.8% December rate was driven by rising prices of fuel and food, which pushed inflation in the manufacturing sector to 19.2%. 2 out of the 16 major groups in the manufacturing subsector recorded inflation rates higher than the sector average of 19.2%. The producer price inflation in the mining and quarrying subsector decreased by 1.7 percentage points over the November 2021 rate of 1.8% in December 2021. The utility subsector recorded a 0.2% inflation rate for December 2021. Although much relevance is attached to the Consumer Price Index, the PPI shows the trend in input cost and the impact on inflation.
Let's have the performance of the cedi on the forex market and the prices of some commodities. The news continues after this break. Please stay.